So if you have $600 to spend on a new smartphone, you're probably wondering, is it okay to go with a flagship device that came out last year, or should I just go with a mid-range phone that's in the same price category? Well, this video is for you because on the left side, we have the Moto Edge of 2025 being compared to the Google Pixel 9 Pro. Let's get started. So when it comes to spending that amount of money for a smartphone, there are going to be some things you're looking for that you won't typically look for if you're spending, a few $100 less or even half that price. In my personal opinion, I think you should be checking for overall performance, better cameras, better battery, display, and build quality. So overall build quality between both of these phones is going to feel premium. It depends on what you like as far as physical phones as well too, because one is going to be a little bit smaller or just shorter in terms of height. But yes, build quality is still going to be premium on both of these devices. Now, when it comes to cameras, if we're going to have that discussion regarding these two phones, then the Pixel 9 is just it's not even close for the Moto Edge here. Camera quality is just going to be that much better. On the Pixel, you're going to have a triple 50 camera setup here. So you're going to have 50 on the main, 50 on the wide, and 50 on the telephoto. Well, to be specific, I believe it's 48, but pretty much 50 across the board. And on the front, it's going to be a 42 megapixel selfie cam. You can shoot 8K video with this device, 4K 60, 4K 30. On the Moto Edge of 25, it's going to be a 50 megapixel main sensor, 50 megapixel ultra wide, and a 10 megapixel telephoto. Telephoto can do 3 times zoom. Oh, in the Pixel, the telephoto can do 5 times zoom. Now on the front camera for the Moto Edge, it's going to be a 50 megapixel sensor, and video recording resolution is going to be 4K 30 frames per second. Now between both of these phones, they have beautiful displays. Okay, there's no question about that. It's going to be at least full HD on both of these phones. Now, the funny thing about these displays here is that both of them are pretty much 2K. They're not not 2K, 1.5K. But when it comes to refresh rate, it's going to be 120 hertz across both of these devices. And the cool thing or the interesting thing about the Pixel is that out of the box, it's only going to be in high resolution. If you go into the settings, you got to switch it over to max resolution. Because I don't know about you, but if I pay all that money for a phone, I want the max quality. So you can see it's 1280 by 2856. And on the Edge is going to be, well, it's not showing you the resolution here, but on the Edge is going to be 1220 by 2712. I think it's 2712 or 2710. When it comes to overall brightness, that's definitely going to go to the Pixel. I don't know what Google has cooking up and what they're doing, man, but the Pixel gets super bright. I mean, this thing is bright. Now, internal specs, that's a major difference as well. And keep in mind that this is flagship level versus mid-range level. 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage for the Moto Edge. It's going to be running the MediaTek Dimensity 7400 Ultra. And on the Pixel, it's going to be running the Tensor 4 CPU paired up with 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. Clearly, one is better than the other. Now, when it comes to battery size, you're going to be kind of surprised. The Pixel 9 Pro has smaller battery than the Moto Edge. We talk about 4,700 milliamp hours in here and 5,200 milliamp hours in the Moto Edge here. Both of these devices are capable of wireless charge. Pixel can fast charge at I think it's 25 watts, maybe 45. Not 100% sure, but it charges relatively quick, but it's not going to be faster than the Moto Edge. It charges at 68 watts, okay? So when it comes to battery charging speeds, it has to go to this one here. So if that's something that you prioritize, then I'll stick with the Edge. Battery life, in my opinion, is definitely going to be better on the Edge, not just because it has a bigger battery. I think Motorola has the secret sauce when it comes to battery on these phones here, on their phones, because they've been doing big batteries in phones for quite some time. They were putting 5,000 milliamp hour batteries inside devices well before it became the norm. So they have a lot of experience when it comes to, optimizing their phones for bigger batteries. And when it comes to the consumption of this one here, it's a lot better. I'm talking about I could play a game on the phone for like an hour and I'll probably lose maybe 5 to 10%. And it does depends on what the brightness is on and everything too, but it's pretty impressive. Now, both phones do feature dual speakers. Speakers are going to sound better on the Pixel. And the other thing that I want you to consider if you're thinking about spending $600 on either one of these two phones is support, because that's a major thing. If you buy a Pixel, Pixel 9a or Pixel 9 Pro, or even a new Pixel 10 Pro, whatever, 7 years of OS updates or support from Google, and that's directly from Google. That's one thing that's a negative when it comes to Motorola. The honest truth is, yes, from time to time, they do have updates that come out to phones, but they're not going to be as good as Pixel. And very few companies can come close to Pixel. I think Samsung is one of them, but Motorola, they have not had a good history when it comes to updating their phones. So software support going into the future is something that I want you to consider, because it's not going to be the best on this one. Now, if you like cool little features, then the Moto Edge might be your friend, because you can chop the phone like that and cut on the flashlight. Wow. You can turn it like this and activate the camera. Wow. And that's something that you just can't do in the Pixel. So if you like little cool features like that and a little bit better battery life, an Edge display, because that's one thing that's a key characteristic of it. Some people hate the Edge display. Then yeah, I would say the MediaTek or the Moto Edge will probably be a good option for you. But if you want that software support over the next 7 years, if you want those phenomenal cameras, super bright display, smaller form factor, if you got $600, then I'll say go with the Pixel. But at the end of the day, it is your money and you can decide to do what you want with it. But in my humble opinion, the Pixel is the way to go. But anyway, in the comment section below, let me know what you guys think. If you had $550 or $600 to spend on a phone, would you go with a previous flagship model or would you go with a current mid-range model? And it does not have to be specific to Motorola or Pixel. What would be your decision? But be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with your family and friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.